Hello everyone and welcome to Stefan's podcast, the only podcast for everything Japanese news and what's going on in the big wide world of Tsushima. Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. We've got some great news stories for you, so let's jump straight into them. By the way, for people who are residents in Japan, there are two news stories coming up, the second and third news stories in this podcast that you might be very interested in. So I'd make sure you stay and watch those two, or I put timestamps at the bottom of the video, so if you want to skip over to those two, I would give that a go. But first news stories for you is 5 students were electrocuted by lightning when they were playing this week on Thursday. So this week on Thursday there was a thunderstorm. It literally came out of nowhere and struck 5 students. All 5 of them had to go to hospital and one of them was even left unconscious. I hope that they make speedy recoveries, and let me tell you something, the weather in Japan is crazy. Who knew that? Oh, how unexpected. It's almost like no one's ever read the news stories, the history of Japan or anything, but yeah, weather here is particularly bad and it can come out of nowhere. Funny enough, I'm not sure if this was the same day or a day or two before, but I also here in Tsushima, I was just doing my random things, and then over the top I just hear this giant thunder strike, and I was very glad that I was indoors. It's actually one of the things personally I really like living in Japan about, not when someone gets struck by lightning, but is watching the storms when they come in, because they can be absolutely beautiful, especially in my old apartment in the north of Tsushima. When there was a thunderstorm going on there and I had a great view of just a forest and then a field. I had a field and a forest in my outside of my window, and watching thunderstorms out of that, oh my good lord, beautiful. And occasionally, if I'm very lucky and I time it right, when I'm driving somewhere and I'll see the coast, when you see the storms from the coast, wow, they are something to behold. They are breathtaking. There was one night I remember coming home and just the way the sea looked was terrifying, just darkness. Oh baby, not fun. But the next news story coming up for you is about foreign banking in Japan, and there's been this clampdown on bank accounts with people who are foreigners who their residency has expired. So normally when you go to the bank and you open a bank account as a foreign person, you have to give them your Zayu card, or Gaijin card as I call it. You give them your Gaijin card, they make some details, and I don't know what they do with it, but a lot of these bank accounts now are being not closed, but they are being blocked from doing transactions if they expire, because there was a few cases of people buying these bank accounts from people who had left Japan and then using them for things like fraud and other things and whatever. So the banks are clamping down on this. So be very careful if you're a foreign resident here and you have money in some of these banks. Personally, when I leave Japan, I think I'm going to take all my money out of the bank account as soon as possible and just let it close and do whatever it needs to do, because you do not want to get your money frozen in these accounts, let me tell you that. And I also, just maybe as a precaution, because I've never had my residency extended, soon it's going to hopefully be extended in the next couple of months. When that happens, I might even just take myself to the bank and be like, oh hey, my residency has expired. I heard that you're blocking bank accounts. Please don't do this on me when I'm probably in the worst situation. Because you know it's going to be when you're going out to dinner with someone. Let's say you're going on the first time you meet your girlfriend's parents and you're going to pay for dinner, and then your bank account gets frozen. You're going, oh geez, here we go. This is not the best way to do this. So might be worth just stepping in the bank and just being like, oh hey, my residency's been extended. Please don't block my account. That would be very, very bad. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. That'd be great. I will say, as a foreigner living in Japan, dealing with the bank here is probably one of the worst things about living in Japan. A lot of hassle, not fun. We don't get half the benefits that the Japanese get, and it's a bit sad. But there we go. That's living in a foreign country for you. Speaking of living in a foreign country and funds that are not fun, is there is a probe into the healthcare used by foreigners at the moment. So this is the headline by the Mainichi. Japan probes foreigners' medical insurance use amid misuse concerns. So there is a concern at the moment by the Japanese government that basically people are moving to Japan just for just for cheap healthcare, and they feel like residents might be using too much of it. So one of the things that you can do here, which I didn't even know was a thing, that you can claim back a limit of healthcare if you go over a certain number of thing, which I've never done here. I've only had my bills discounted when I've gone to the hospital, and I know that I have a separate insurance that once it goes over like a certain amount, I can charge over on that. Coming from the UK, having to deal with all these insurance things is not fun. Every time I've been, I've normally just paid like 1,000 or 2,000 yen and just gone, you know what, sweet, that's the end of it. It's worth the 1,000, 2,000 yen to not have to deal with the paperwork, and I don't want to go. Honestly, this news story, I'm so like, this is headlines that I used to see all the time in the UK, that foreigners are coming to our country to misuse our healthcare. They do this, everything that's bad in our country is because of the foreigners. And this seems like one of these news stories. As a foreigner living in Japan, going to the hospital as a foreigner is probably one of the worst things about being a foreigner in a foreign country, especially if you don't speak the language. It's hard work. You're trying to explain what you're going through. Nothing goes right. There's always a problem somewhere. There's always a mistranslation. The doctors don't understand you, and it's not fun. I am yet to have one like fully fun medical experience. I'm trying to think. I recently went because I had a cold, and then they gave me some medicine, and that was it. That was about as easy of an appointment that you get. I've been to appointments here where the doctor I know has told me the wrong thing, or given me the wrong thing, or given me the wrong piece of information. So I've then had to go to another doctor and then sorted that out. Let me tell you this, as a foreigner living in Japan, I honestly can't see why anyone would do this, would just come to a country just because the healthcare is cheap, unless you've got a general very, very big problem that your country is very, very expensive for healthcare. We have healthcare in the UK, but to move to another country just for healthcare, that means there is either something very, very wrong with you and your country is dropping the ball, or I don't know, that's the only things I could do with it. Trust me, no foreigners want to go to the hospital here. It's not fun. What is interesting, and where this news story will come from, is if they look at foreigners who come to Japan and probably find that, they have a higher chance of going to the hospital than someone who's a foreign national. And that probably is true, because I have been to the hospital more than I would have in the UK, but that's because I'm not used to all the Japanese germs that are going around. I'm working in a school which I wasn't working before. There's all these like viruses and stuff I've never come into contact with, and you just get sick out of nowhere because you're not used to it. So that's one of the things that's going to happen to you if you live in Japan. But yeah, I hate these news stories. Just the way everything, and it's not just Japan, this is every country in the world at the moment. America, UK, Germany, France. You look at all their headlines and everything around there is going to be, foreigners are doing this. The reason why everything's bad is because of the foreigners. It's like, is it? Is it? As a foreigner in a different country, I don't think it is. I think there's probably more issues out there, like a lot of billionaires not paying the tax that they should do, the fact that there's probably a lot of money wasted that shouldn't be wasted, bureaucracy everywhere. Too much stuff. But everyone wants to put their politics into this. A problem that probably isn't even that big of a problem in the first place. Didn't like the story, but there we go. Next news stories for you. I'm gonna have a fun one, which I'm gonna jump to and then go back to some other ones, because the health one I thought was just a stupid news article, but I'm waiting for them to be like, foreigners should have to pay more insurance now because they use the hospital more, because that's going to be a thing if this probe finds that they that foreigners use healthcare more and people are going to want it. I mean, just look at the tourist taxes that Japan are charging now, because if anyone can get any money out of anyone at the moment, we have to try and do it. Ugh, it's gross. But next news story is smartphone ownership among the 4th to 6th graders in Tokyo area surpasses 50% for the first time. So this isn't just in Tokyo, this is in the Kanto region, which is a very big region in Japan, that 50% of children have phones. So 4th to 6th grade, you're looking at about 10 to 12. So they're saying in the article that the average time you first get your first phone is at 10.4. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you've seen it, there was a TikTok or YouTube going around of a mum showing their early children's first phone. So it was more of a safety feature, really. It was basically just a phone. You could call your mum and dad, call the police, and there was this tab on it that if you pulled it, it would, I think, contact the police. It would contact an emergency caller. So you could set that as mum or dad. And when you pulled it, it would also take a picture with the camera. So if you were getting into some sort of trouble, you could pull that, and then the person who's, I guess, abducting your child would have the picture of it. Very cool thing. As a teacher, the differences between Japanese schools and perhaps the UK schools is I have never, in my whole 2 or 3 years of teaching in Japan, ever seen a student with a phone at all. They are completely not allowed in the schools. I've never seen a kid whip one out before. They are completely banned, and the kids follow it, which is amazing. Maybe they hide it and I just don't see it, but I've never seen like a student sneakily putting their phone away or getting something out or doing like that, which I think, just being a teacher and going into all the different classes, I would have seen. If they have one, I would have noticed it by now, but which is good, because I think not bringing a phone to school is actually very, very good. The schools all have iPads, which they sort of give to the students to use for work, and those are restricted to the internet, and I'm sure they're probably monitored and whatever else it is. But it's nice not having that problem in the UK, in Japan, whereas in the UK, I know it's a problem. No phones in the schools, awesome, very good, love it. I honestly, I can't see any benefit to kids bringing their phones to school whatsoever. They, you know, every generation lasted for 50, 60 years without needing to call their mum every day, text their mum every day on what's going on. I'm sure the kids can survive. But when do you think a child should get their first smartphone? And should there be restrictions on it? Another thing in the article is calling for a 1 hour day limit on smartphones, which not totally bad. I don't think there should be any limit. I think you should be able to use it as you want to. Some parents will want their kids to use smartphones more, some kids will want to use them less. I don't know what is the right answer in this. I've heard some people even say that they want their kids to use the smartphone more because that's the world that they're going to be living in. You know, they're going to be on their smartphone 24 hours a day. They need to learn how to use it as a tool effectively. And if they just completely use their screen time, you've had a kid who's, I don't know, mastered the smartphone somehow and does things like that, they'll be better in business than another one, which I can understand, working in marketing before. If they want to become social media managers or something, then yeah, you probably not a bad idea to spend a lot of time on your smartphone. But under 10, yeah, a bit young to start always watching social media. I don't know. I have no idea on the answer to this. It's beyond me. I think they're poison chalice. They're sometimes good, sometimes bad smartphones. Who knows? Someone tells me if they're smartphones, good or bad, what should you do with them? I would like to know. Next news story coming up for you is another interesting one, is the Osaka Expo, which I might actually be going to, which I didn't think I was going to, but we're going to go and have a look at it. Maybe I will be in Osaka about the time that it's on. So this is a big event going on in Japan at the moment. It's meant to show all of the different countries, like their new tech, what their country's going to do. Loads of businesses are coming to this, and they're going to promote their things and hopefully make different deals with other sorts of companies. It's like a very big tech expo and meant to be one of the biggest in the world. Japan is in a sort of mixed thing of whether this is going to bring money into the economy or not. They can't really seem to make a decision on if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad. I think it's probably going to be a bit like the Olympics, where no one makes money from it, but it's a good thing to have in your country every now and again, and a lot of people are going to go to it, and a lot of people are going to learn new things, see interesting things. Even if you don't make money from it, this, I think, will be a net positive for the country. And perhaps, I always think the problem with these like Olympics, big expos like this, is they don't really know how much it's going to affect them, because someone could come to this as a company worker, go to Japan, have a fantastic time, and then for the next, 10, 15 years, keep coming back to Japan just because they went to this one exhibition and really enjoyed it. I worked in Amsterdam for about a weekend on a film festival, and I really liked it. I would now go back to Amsterdam because of it. Before, I didn't really want to go to Amsterdam ever. There was no appeal to it for me. And just going there, eating the food, having a few beers there, very nice place. Would return to Amsterdam. So what do you think? Is this going to be good or is this going to be bad? One thing there's another news story I got coming up here is about drones. So even though this is meant to be a big tech expo, they've banned all drones from the area due to safety concerns, and one person was caught flying a drone there yesterday, and they are looking into punishing him. Journalism has got so lazy, it's crazy, and perhaps maybe this is just the police doing this or whatever, but the Mainichi, Japan Today, they all read from the same hymn sheet, and let me tell you, the journalism was pretty poor on it. So they just there was a drone that went up, the police went to find the operator of the drone, and they're like saying, oh, did they have a license? Oh, we don't know. Where's the person from? Oh, we don't know. But all we know is that he flew the drone. It's like, really? That's top journalism? Because if the guy had a license to fly it around, then great. Maybe he was meant to be doing there to promote it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But if you're going to the event as a YouTuber or whatever, be careful. You're not allowed to fly drones around it at all, and you will get into a lot of trouble if you do, and they're going to be shit hot on this if they see you flying a drone anywhere near the area. So take your drone, don't bring it, and stay out of trouble, because Japanese jail is not fun, and you don't want to be sitting in Japanese jail for 23 days before they even have to charge you. I mean, that itself is a punishment in of itself. Oh, just imagine, even if I was a police officer, someone's committed a petty crime, which is only, a fine, they can just keep you in jail for 23 days. And that's worse than just having to pay the fine. So be careful, Japanese jail, not fun. Not for the light-hearted, certainly is not. Japanese jail, not good. Okay, next news story is about China and Japan's relations at the moment. So there's a big thing about, I don't remember how long ago, about a month, maybe 6 months ago, about Fukushima was dumping a lot of the water that had been treated in the nuclear plant, and they were dumping it into the ocean. They had said that the officials that this water had been treated so that it didn't contain much nuclear waste. There was like a 0.000% in how many liters, whatever. China, from this, said that they were going to ban all Japanese seafood from entering their market, and that they would not allow it to re-enter unless they can take tests of the water. China, about a week ago, went to the waters and found that the water was clear, all good, and that there were no problems from it. They are now entering negotiations with Japan to re-enter sushi into the market and let them to start sell their fish again. So hopefully that's going to be going well. Interestingly enough, these apparently were done online, these negotiations. So hopefully we could find in the next couple of weeks that Japanese seafood is allowed back into the country. Of course, this is coming at a very interesting time where America are charging all these tariffs on every single country around the world, especially China. They've really gone in on China with the tariffs, and these tariffs are affecting Japan a lot, especially when it comes to car manufacturing. So we will see. There has been a lot more probably communication between Japan and China and Korea because of these tariffs, and these are three countries that historically don't always get on, I think is to say the least between them, especially all the wars that have gone on over the years between the three. So it'll be interesting to see what happens out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if the seafood is allowed back into China within the next couple of months. Fingers crossed for Japanese fishermen and for fishermen off Tsushima, because let me tell you, it's a big industry here, and their seafood is very good. It certainly is. I will say, I wish Japan didn't do this in the first place, and when it comes to food, I'm a person of don't fuck around with it, just leave it alone. You don't need to do this. I wish Fukushima didn't dump anything into the sea. They should have found another way. I don't know where you do with it. It's one of the worst things about nuclear is that you have all this nuclear waste just left over, and if there's something that goes wrong, then you have all this spilling and it just destroys the environment. I'm not a fan of nuclear power at all, and yeah, don't like it. Just don't. When it comes to food and agriculture and anything to do with the environment, especially with nuclear waste, don't fuck around with it. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't put it into the ocean. Don't do it. We've got a big thing about the UK and our tariffs. One of the reasons why we're getting tariffed is because we won't accept a lot of American food, especially it's always the chlorinated chicken that comes around. Australia is also another one that won't that got tariffs because they won't accept American food. And I just think, yeah, because you fucked around with it. Just leave it alone. If you just sell normal animals, that's fine. Most people will take that. Would have taken that no problem. But you got to mess around with it and put all these things in it that nobody needs. And we're not going to know how this affects us until 20, 30 years later, once we've had all the evidence of it. When it comes to food, don't fuck around with it. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Just let it do its thing. Let it relax. Let it marinate in its own juices. You don't need to be chlorinating it and doing whatever else that is. Yeah, absolutely not. But we've got the last news story for you. An interesting one. This is from the Mainichi. Japan ranks lowest in quality of life satisfaction among 30 countries. So according to this quality of life among 30 countries, just 60% of people are happy in the global surveys done, and apparently there was another one in here which is really low, which was only 27% of Japanese respondents said that I feel my life has meaning, which is depressing. Oh, good lord. Off the top people to respond, believe it or not, India was one of the top. India had the highest happiness score at 88%, followed by the Netherlands at 86%. So big surprise there coming from the Netherlands. Have to say, good lord. Of all the places that I wouldn't have expected to be at the top, is 88 is India. So wow. I mean, hey, as long as you're happy, that's great. Fantastic things. One of the most ones in the article was the most common response for feeling happy was relationships with family, given by 41%, with a close second feeling appreciated and loved at 41%. So there's some fun stats in here if you're into this sort of pop psychology. And yeah, it's sad to see Japan isn't at the highest, because they have a lot of good things going for the country. I think if they could just not work as much as they do, they'd be very, very, very happy, because it's a beautiful country. When you get to see it and live here and eat the food and go for lunch, I mean, maybe it's because it's spring and just everything is better in Japan in spring. It's beautiful, the cherry blossoms out, everyone's in a good mood. But Oh, my love for Japan has gone up tenfold this week. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe they asked these people during Japanese winter, and Japanese winter is cold, dark, and yeah, not fun. They need to go and re-ask people during April. That's when everyone would have said, my life is great, everything is great, it's so happy, I love Japan. But yeah, unfortunately, not high respondents. What do you think about that news story? Are you happy in Japan? Are you having a lovely time? I'm having a great time. Beautiful country. Loving it. Would like for the news to be a little bit nicer to foreigners out there, but unfortunately that's everywhere in the world at the moment. Everyone seems to hate foreigners. It's just easy politicking. All you have to do is blame someone else for your problems, and then you get some easy votes. But there we go. We shall see what happens. That is pretty much the end of the podcast. What's been going on with me in the last couple of weeks is, oh man, I made a huge mistake at work the other day. Teaching subjects to students, and one of the subjects that they do is called Period for Integrated Studies. Of course, no student in the world can say that as a second language. I can barely say it at all. I'm teaching elementary kids, so they get an easy one: maths, English, Japanese. Even Japanese is difficult to pronounce. So they have Period for Integrated Studies, and I think to myself, all right, look, hey kids, you are never going to need to be able to say this ever. No one's going to ask you what subject did you do, and you're going to have to say Period for Integrated Studies. You don't need to learn this. It's not going to be on any test. So let's just do what we do with PE, which is physical education, and let's shorten it. And then I think, okay, what are the initials for Period for Integrated Studies? And I go, all right, well, I'm not putting the 4 in because we don't need that. So I go, all right, Period for Integrated Studies, we'll just call it PIS. And then suddenly, kids who can't read and can't spell, they're all suddenly geniuses at reading and spelling. So they go, oh, PIS, piss. And I'm going, no, wait. And I have to think to myself like, oh no. And I can't explain. I don't want to explain to the children why we don't want to say that. So I was like, okay, no, actually, we're not going to call it that. We're going to call it something else. And I went on, but I just went, whoops, that was a mistake. Silly me. And I did laugh. I was laughing once I got out of the classroom and they were going, piss. I was like, whoops. I didn't want to ask them, how was the lesson? It was piss. What lesson did you have? I had piss. And it was like, okay, fun story. Nice one. But yeah, apart from that, that's been my week in Japan. The weather has been fantastic here. It's getting really, really nice, and life is good. I hope you're having a fantastic week wherever you are, and I shall see you in the next video in the next couple of days. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.